Okay, working in the garage today, 2008 Honda Accord V6, 4-door, EXL, so on. Anyway, what's going on is my rear brake pads were hanging up. And back around 40,000 miles, the original Honda pads went bad, as happens to nearly everybody. And they dinged up the face of the rotor here a little bit. And I replaced the pads, but not the rotor. Okay, and then after that, the rear brake pads started hanging up a little bit, and that's after about another 70,000 miles. Anyway, the rear brake pads start hanging up, heating up the rear brake assembly enough that you could smell brake pad. Didn't know what was going on, so I took it apart, and I found out because the surface is rougher here, the pad wears unevenly, gets cocked in the assembly, hangs up, and then of course the brakes get hot. They don't release like they're supposed to. Okay, so with that said, because I was a little worried about the rear spindle, because this thing has hung up like 3 times on me now, I wanted to just kind of tear things apart. And unlike any of the other GM or Ford vehicles I've owned, this thing is, even with 130,000 miles, it's actually not too tough to take apart. All the bolts come loose, and everything's so simple to take apart and put together. I just wanted to do some inspection. So what I want to get into is, of course, there's plenty of videos on doing rear brakes. And if you're going to replace your rear brakes, just put new rotors on right away. These here, I found replacements at the local auto parts store for under $30. You can get the Honda ones for about $120. I don't know if there's a difference or not, but either way, I'm not going to spend $100 extra per rotor. Then you got to get yourself one of these tools. About $40 at the parts store. Comes in this driver set. Lyle 29 200. It's a little blurry. This thing doesn't focus. And then you need a decent set of metric wrenches. Even just a set of flat wrenches is all you need. So let's take a look here at the spindle. So here's the spindle assembly. And it doesn't freewheel, but it definitely does not feel rough. It feels like just a good greased bearing in there. You see there's an O-ring in there. This was all corroded, even worse than it looks now. A lot of corrosion and stuff had to get off of there. And we'll look here. And this is where this was. Like so. And you got your sensor for picking up wheel rotation. And that bolt right there holds that in. I recommend removing this before you take the caliper out, or the spindle business out. And clean everything up and put it back together. Sorry about the sniffles. So yeah, get yourself one of these. 4 bolts from the back side. I was able to get at with a flat wrench. I'm sorry, no, not a flat wrench. A 6-point 17mm socket. Come through here, hold the spindle on. Something like this. 1/2-inch drive. Just some Craftsman tools, nothing fancy. One of these in a 10mm. And another one in a 12. I'm good to go. I'm going to clean things up, put a new brake rotor on there, and call it good. Then I'm going to do the other side. Hate to imagine what this thing costs. And hopefully the car goes long enough. Maybe I'll get to replace it someday. Anyway, I probably got about 20 minutes work tied up in this. You can see how far I got. So, easy Saturday afternoon project. That's it. Bye.